So imagine waking up tomorrow in a world without art. No music playing in your headphones on your way to school or work, no paintings in your museums, no films to make you cry or laugh. Even your favorite memes, logos, and brands are just gone. At first, it might not seem like the biggest problem in the world because we'll still have our jobs, still have science, we'll still have technology, life will continue, right? But will it really feel like living? Today, let's answer one question that sounds quite impossible but reveals a lot about us. What if art disappeared tomorrow? We often hear phrases like, art it won't get you a real job, art is just something extra, it's just a hobby. Many people consider art as something extra and optional. But is that true? Well, I think that no, it's not true. Art is not something optional, art is not something extra. Because art is far more than just entertainment. Art is something that connects us. Think about how a single song can unite thousands of people in a concert. They dance and sing together and they don't even know each other. Well, now think about when you're getting to know someone. One of the first questions you ask is, what kind of music do you listen to? What kind of films do you watch? Even the video games you play every single day is a form of art. Isn't that so? Now think about how a film can unite a family, how a poet can survive for centuries and still touch hearts today. Now think about your favorite writer or poet. They lived centuries and decades ago, but we still read them, we still read their work, we still appreciate them. Isn't that so? Isn't that crazy how they are already dead, but they are still alive? But art does even more than just to connect. Art is a way to express yourself. Now imagine art disappeared and classrooms are just places filled with memorization and numbers and there is no creativity. And guess who suffers the most? Of course, young people, because for young people, art is not just a pastime. It's a safe place, it's a voice, and it's their comfort zone. It's a way they express themselves, because art is something that we use to express ourselves when words are not enough. Think about how a song described perfectly how you felt when words were not enough. And think about how a film made you cry or change your perspective entirely. Now think about how a simple photo or a simple quote made you stop and think about your life. Isn't that crazy? Now let's move on. Now let's think about creativity. We know there are loads of creations and innovations in this world, isn't that so? But they didn't only come from logic, they came from creativity, they came from imagination, and art is the root of creativity. I mean, art is not something that creates creativity, art is a way to train it, because creativity dies when it's not been stimulated, and art, I think, is the easiest way to stimulate your creativity. You know what once Albert Einstein said? Imagination, logic takes you from A to B, imagination takes you everywhere. And there's another one, imagination is more important than knowledge. That's why art is not something optional. Art is not something extra. It's really, really, really important for all of us in our everyday life. Because think about architects. They combine beauty with engineering, and they create these places. They're beautiful and they're logical at the same time. Art is one of the few things that combines imagination with logic. That's why it's been surviving in every single civilization throughout history. Now think about difficult times in history. Think about wars, think about crises and protests. In that time, people always return to art. They still create poems, they still create photography, they still create paintings. Why? Because art is what gives people hope. Now imagine removing that hope completely out of your life. Maybe life will become more efficient, maybe it will become, I would say, more efficient, but it will also be less human. As I said, art is something that gives us hope. Art is something that makes living feel like living. Isn't that so? Now let's think about history. You know that one person once was rejected, and they did something. They did something that still affects us. I mean, I don't want to say his name or anything related, but we still know them. Isn't that like one of the biggest examples of why we shouldn't ignore art? So that's why let us continue drawing, let us continue creating, let us continue imagining, and let us continue writing. Because art is not something that humans create. Art is something that creates humanity. Thank you.